Thank you for being back in time. We will now start in the last session, the afternoon session of our Global Customer Services Meeting 2016. For the afternoon, I think for the start, we have a very special guest with us. Robert Seeger will share a speech with the title Applying Customer Experience Superpower with us. The topic customer experience we discussed, we talked about during the last 3 days. So it will be really interesting for us now to have, sorry, to look now at it from a different perspective.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the show so far. Hope you liked it. Honestly, I'm super happy to be here. I've never had so much commitment on an introduction before. Yeah? The last piece of voice by Irmgard is killed now. That was it. I'm from Steiermark, so I love to be back here. I met a childhood friend of mine just right here, working here in Rafael. I didn't know that. I haven't seen him for 22 years. And the cameraman, in fact, plays baseball with me. And honestly, I couldn't think about a better place, about better people. And now you see, yeah, well, he's always saying that. It's usually I always say that, but it's not true. There are audiences I like to speak more, and there are others I don't like to speak that much. I mean, I always love audience, but there are sort of audiences I love more than others. Very often I have to speak for marketing. You know marketing? This is always good for a speaker because you can earn more money at marketing, because you can always automatically charge them more, because if it doesn't cost a lot, they don't fancy it. That's good. But then you come to these conferences and then they talk about, lately, very much about branding. And then there becomes this guy, London agency, speaks for 2 hours about the new blue. They have this new blue now in the logo, and this new blue that represents the depth of the ocean. And it's as clear as the spring water. And then I come on stage and then I say, well, have you ever met somebody in your life that went into a restaurant or that went into a hotel, and the next day he came back and he said, well, the service was terrible, the food was lousy, the beer was lukewarm, the room was dirty, but hell, the blue of the logo was fantastic. I'll go back there again because of this wonderful logo. It never happens. Yet we still, most of the companies invest a lot more in the logo than in the people. They invest a lot more money on corporate colors than in corporate culture of the people who do business. You're the one who do the business. So I thought, how can I honor this? How can I make this a special afternoon? And I will be really boring, I think. I thought I'd make this really boring. I give you a history lesson. I studied art history, so I know a lot about history, so I'll give you a history lesson. And I know I'm going to repeat what you learned in the last 3 days, but again, we have to start in 1622. I know you talked about this on Tuesday, you talked about this on Wednesday, and I'm sure you already talked about this today, because if you work with clients, if you work with customers, if you work anything, you always speak about 1622. What? Does anyone else want to repeat what we learned about 16? It's a year. Yeah? In the year 1622, I repeat it now, something amazing happened. Pope Gregor XIII founded the Congregatio de Propaganda Fide. This was the first customer service department of the Catholic Church. You remember in 1622, the Pope was sitting down with all his bishops, and they had a problem. Their clients were running away. Oh, got to this Lutheran thing, yeah, big problem. We have a problem, our clients running away. We need to change something. And they said, not what? We create customer values. We promise them, but we give them benefits. If you stay with us for your whole your life, paradise waits for you. So we try to keep our customers with benefits. What did they do before 1622? What was in, let's imagine back, very skeptical, but you'll see it in a minute. If you wanted to leave the church in 1621, and you said, sorry, can I go to another church? And then they said, of course. Here we can negotiate about that. So if you wanted to leave the church in 1622, they said, well, we have a lot of instruments of customer experience, a huge variety of torture instruments. Maybe you could reconsider your decision to leave the company. Don't you see a pattern here? Isn't this the same with a lot of companies today? For example, you sign a new mobile contract, and you say, but you have to stay for 24 months. Minimum contract duration. That's a modern part of the thumbscrew. You want to leave? Well, it will be really painful. So you stay at a company only because, not because of the service, of the price, of the products, but only because you're afraid of the thumbscrew. HR does this very often. You can work in this company, but you have to sign that for the next 22 years you will not work in another field other than waiter at this company. But this also happens very often. But even the Catholic Church improved. I know this is not the best example probably, but the Pope is on Twitter. The Pope is on Twitter! So if your boss is not on Twitter, you can use this valid argument to convince him you want to be more backward than the Pope. It usually helps. It drives a lot of people to Twitter. But once they see the Pope's there, so everyone else, you can say Pope and Elon Musk is there. Church is where industry is now, with industry 4.0, 5.0, 8 billion. The church is there, so if, let's say you commit a sin tonight, now, I commit a sin tonight and I go home, and then I say, oh, I have no time for the church is too far away, I'm in a plane, so I can download the app Confession Booth. It's just one of many apps you can download and you have your online confession, wherever you go. I'm not making this up, these are all Catholic apps. This really works. It really works. Your sins are really forgiven. So you come back from the strip club, you just get in, sorry, I sinned, and they said, yeah, I donate here, and 17 Ave Maria, and all's gone. Good. They also have their sense of humor. He said, Adam and Eve were the first people that have not read the Apple terms and conditions. So they do have their sort of, so the church really improves. So if the church improves, I think everybody can. So, superpowers. I'm not going to teach you how to fly, obviously. Sorry for that, but you saw it. I didn't fly in the room. There's no atomic shields. I will talk about a few, actually 5 very little things. Things you can apply for work, for your life, for your career. To improve the customer experience, but also to improve the way maybe you behave in general. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite power. This is the so-called power of small, or the power to surprise. There's a wonderful book written about this, by the way. It's by Linda Koval and Catherine Town. It's called The Power of Small. It's very American, but it's a great book. So for those who are interested in reading, you know what American means. It's very tearful. Yeah? So this starts with an interesting story. Does anyone know her? Any guess? This is my wife. Thank God. It was a test. If you would say I know her, So 4 weeks ago, we were in New York. It's a true story. 4 weeks ago, we're in New York, and if you go with your wife to New York, you have to take her to Tiffany's. Happy wife, happy life, as we say. The experience going to Tiffany's with 3 small children alone is a great experience. So you go there and she's really happy, and that's I mean, you pay a ridiculous amount of money for the year, but anyway. And then, have you ever bought something new at Tiffany's? You know what happens afterwards? Something really amazing happens. Last week, I got a letter. It's a handwritten letter. It's from Jennifer at Tiffany's. The only thing that is in there is a card. And it says, "Dear Mr. Seeger, it was a pleasure meeting you and your family. The rose gold bean earrings are a perfect addition to your wife's growing collection. Thank you for making Tiffany a part of your visit to New York. All the best, Jennifer." So they didn't send me a catalog, they didn't send me a coupon for the next buy. No, they took the time to send me a personal note. They wrote down, I was there with my family, they wrote down what I bought, and they invested $1.20 to send me this card. These are the small things. Is it more likely I'm gonna buy again at Tiffany's when I get this, or if I get the big fancy catalog with the 20% off? This weighs a lot more for us. So another one. Maybe you recognize him. Who's he?
Ferguson.
Sorry, Alex, first, thank you very much. So those who don't know him, he was a manager, a football manager. Many, many years, I think almost 30 years for Manchester United, won 47 titles, two times Champions League, 17 times Premier League, whatever, correct me if I'm wrong, but something like this. After he retired, the Harvard Business School made a study, and they wanted to find out what's the secret of Sir Alex Ferguson. Why is this man so successful and others aren't so successful? And what they did, they conducted interviews with all the great players that ever worked for Sir Alex Ferguson. So they asked David Beckham, they asked Eric Cantona, they asked Ryan Giggs. What was special about Sir Alex Ferguson? This is a great TV format. This is on HBO, The Secret of Sir Alex Ferguson. Do you know what they said? Anyone know what they said? All of them said the same thing. The most amazing thing about Sir Alex Ferguson was that he knew all 350 people working for Manchester United by their name. And he greeted everyone, from the guy that sold the tickets to the woman that washed the uniforms to David Beckham. He treated everyone the same. And this stuck in the mind of Cristiano Ronaldo as the most important feature this guy had. Very often we overlook these small things. We go to a client, we only talk to the boss. But very often the man at the door, in reality, makes the decision. You never know. The small things always happen and always matter. When I speak somewhere, I do something that is not usual. I bring a present. Normally, the speaker gets presents. Usually, I get paid and I want a bottle of wine or something. Huh? When I speak somewhere, I always bring a very small present. Today, for Irmgard, I didn't even know that you had my voice. I brought you some flowers. Investment, sorry I have to say this, under 20 euros. Huh? I bought a really cheap one at the gas station. Normally I wouldn't say that, but we're in the so 22. Why do I do that? Let's say she makes a conference 7 times a year and she invites 20 speakers. Maybe my speech is not the best, but she still will remember, hey, there was a nice guy that brought me the chocolate, that brought me the flowers. That sticks at the end. Of course, small things are different in different cultures. But at the end, small things always make the difference. Small things, in fact, make all the difference. Oh yeah, this is a nice one. Sometimes clients want to be surprised. Let's imagine somebody, and this really happened. So a guy sends a message to customer support, a tweet. He says, hey, I saw a bird, it's a pigeon, he crapped on a smart, it's completely gone, it's crashed, boom. This is from services. It's sort of difficult. You know? What can you respond? You can no, or maybe you looked wrong. Maybe you can check your eyesight, or you just leave it, yeah, like that. But sometimes you can surprise the customer back, or you have something really small. And so they say, no, it wasn't one bird. It was like 4 by 5. They attached a little infographic. It actually takes 4.5 million pigeons to shit on the smart to make it quicker. At the emu goes much faster. And still, one emu in his life can destroy a smart. But it still takes a while. It even communicates a USB. Yeah, it isn't a safety cell. So sometimes humor is a good weapon, sometimes small things make all the difference. It's not the big things that change everything in service. It's a commitment to take care of the small things, double checking the email before you send it. But maybe there's no mistake, all these small things matter. Yes, and that's the power of storytelling. You know, in marketing? So is someone from marketing here? So in marketing, they do storytelling. There's a big difference. Service is story doing, marketing is storytelling. So they tell fancy stories. Stories actually nobody's really interested in. Because it's never as exciting as Game of Thrones or Champions League final or whatever. Yeah? We didn't wait for them. But what you can do is story doing. The great power service always has is to create story. Because one of the stories that interest you is the story you were the hero. It's the story that are about me. Okay, so I went to this hotel in Sindelfingen, that's by Stuttgart, where Mercedes-Benz, you probably know that. There's a Marriott in Sindelfingen. And I stayed there, and at the time I stayed there, it's about 8 months ago, they were rebuilding this hotel. So room by room is not a big problem. And I went in there, I checked in, and then I sent out, I checked in on Facebook, on Twitter, and I sent a little message out. I'm at the hotel in Sindelfingen at the Marriott, and I used the hashtag construction, or something like this. Yeah? In German, we Baustelle, it's much better. Yeah? But I didn't complain. There was not really something to complain. I just stated it, that they're rebuilding it. Then, 20 minutes later, it knocked on my door. I was just preparing my speech. A young lady came in with a cake, some sandwiches, tea, coffee, and some complimentary drinks. They said, "This is from the hotel. I thought you have a problem with the construction site. Here is it." Without me being active, they checked my social media accounts. They checked what I would say. They acted before I even said something. And they brought me there. And something else happened with that. And when it comes to breakfast, I'm very Italian, normally. So it's like a cortado, that would be Spanish, like a ristretto, and maybe just a cornetto, so just a cortado. I never eat at hotels where it's ridiculously expensive. So this young lady just brought me this, and they said, "And can I also take your order for breakfast?" I was like, "Yes, please." Of course, I was in a total state of euphoria. I said, "Yes, please." So I bought 29 euros breakfast buffet. Next morning, I had a small coffee and a croissant for 29 euros. So that really pays off. So take a chance wherever there is something to create a story with a customer. Maybe take this extra mile, this commitment to see something when something happens. There's a guy that was flying back to New York, and he was tweeting his favorite steakhouse and said, "Hey, Mortens, wouldn't it be great if you meet me at the New York airport with a porterhouse?" He meant this as a joke, of course, for his friends. But what actually happened was, they waited for him when he came. He came outside, and they had the porterhouse there with the plastic. Yeah, this American, sorry, but that's still, he enjoyed the steak right there after the plane. This creates a story. Someday creates a story. Someday there was an opportunity to be amazing. That's the commitment to be amazing. Not just delivering service, that's external. And of course, people are happy. If that happens to you, tell it to other people. I tell the story that I got a cake for free at the Marriott every time I speak somewhere. Because it's amazing. They checked, they cared for their customers more than I was aware of that. And the third story is also very nice. We've probably heard that before, but it's a great story. It happens now quite often. A lot of hotels adapted this. But it's if you go with the children into a hotel, and then sometimes it happens that you forget something, like the pet animal. It's a nightmare. Kids can't sleep next day. Yeah, I don't know. Horrible, right? And so this story is from the Ritz-Carlton, and so this is Josie the giraffe. Josie the giraffe was forgotten at the Ritz-Carlton, and so the parents call, "Oh my God, we've got Josie the giraffe." And so, of course, they sent it back. But they didn't just send it back. They took a few pictures with Josie. Why? Josie stayed a little longer at the hotel. She was enjoying at the beach. She was there. She was having a massage. She was having a running. The interesting thing about that is, they do this every time. Yeah? It's not like a one-off. Yeah? It's just like a regular thing that happens there. And in this one particular instance, the father of the child happens to be the editor-in-chief of the Bounce magazine. Yeah? This was headline news in America. The Josie Disrupt was returned with just a bunch of printed out pictures. So again, the investment is so little compared to the story you create out there. So always think, create amazing experiences. Create amazing values. It's also transparent to your values. Oh, you might be surprised now because it's the power of words. I love the power of words. It's one of the most amazing powers. This is really a superpower. It's the only one that's really a superpower. And what happens is the difference in writing. This is metaphorical. Well, everyone gets this at first. You need a while until you get it. My daughter is 13 years old, my oldest daughter now, and for 3 years she has a phone, an iPhone, of course. I think she doesn't know that it has the functionality to use it as a phone. They go, no, it's not a function anymore. It's not imprinted. They never talk, never, ever, ever they talk on the phone. So, and these people will be your next customers. They will not talk to you. They will not talk to you. That's the reality we have to face. But they will WhatsApp you and chat you. So they will do this. And writing is the new speaking. I consult a lot of companies in that transition from talking to writing and from speaking to writing. It's quite difficult for a lot of call centers especially because suddenly nobody calls. And then, because if somebody calls and he's angry, it's really easy. You can say, hey, calm down, it's easy to hear it from the voice. But if somebody writes just with capitals, you never know. Is he really angry? Is he just a little angry? Or does he understand anything? Is he stupid? Is he good? Whatever, yeah? Makes it a lot more difficult. So writing is the new speaking. Always keep that in mind. Sorry. Sorry. You know that there are studies that reveal that 25% of all contracts, of all service agreements, fail, not because of the price, the service wasn't delivered. It's because the wording is too difficult. That one or the other doesn't understand. You know, there are companies having departments, and their only purpose is to make writing complicated. It's called legal. Yeah? Their only job is it to make normal sentences, turning them into sentences nobody will understand ever. And that's something we send out to clients. Yeah? It always happens all the time. Who knows them? Who has children? Nobody knows them? No, I don't think. Okay, sorry. I'm the only one. Okay. This is a Phoebe and Tina. Phoebe. Yeah, thank you very much. So these are movie heroes, you know, for 7 to 13 years old. The blonde girl is Phoebe. She's a witch. She's a witch. She's a rat, and she can make magic. Yeah, and words can make magic. And with every magic, there is white magic. There's white magic. There are words that can perform amazing things, and there are words that can destroy a lot. And this is true for almost all languages in the world. So the white magic, let's say you search for the one word that would always let you skip the line. Wouldn't that be cool? So there's a big line waiting for check-in. There's a big line waiting at the buffet. But there's one word, there's one universal word that makes you always skip the line. They made studies in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, and 10 years ago also. Nothing changed. It's across most of the culture, it's the same. And the interesting thing, this word is the word because. If you go to the top of this line and you say, can I be the next because my train is just leaving, because it's my birthday today, because I don't like to wait, people will let you pass. Regardless of whatever the reasoning is. As long as you give them a reason, they let you pass. In business correspondence, we very often face the dilemma, we don't give a reason. We don't say the word why. Because we always say, Yeah? We don't say, this is why, but people want to know why. If you claim an insurance, they will not say, we don't give you the money because, or we give you the money because, but they write you this long email and state this and this terms and blah, 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 blah. And you never know. If they will give you a reason, you would understand it. You never get one. This is also a magic word. If it's really simple, say it's simple. Don't say it's simple if it's really complicated, but it's simple. And another one is the word already. It sounds so trivial, but just imagine there's a difference between we are already working on it. That means it's almost finished. But if you say we're still working on it, that means it will take forever in our perception. So words really play and there are bad words. Black words is the word sorry. It's one of the bad words. We apologize about too much. Yeah? I'll come to that more later. But we always say, if an email starts with sorry, we're like, even sometimes we don't have to apologize. Don't be so sorry. It only takes. And the third one is, you have to. Don't we live in a life where we have to do all the things? We have to get out the garbage. We have to get the kids from school. We have to be home at 10, whatever. Yeah? Always have to. Don't always tell people what they have to do. You have to sign up here. You have to do this. You have to do this. Tell them, sign up here, do this, do this. Don't use this. So never underestimate the power of words. If there's one skill you should invest, is make people better writers. This was improve communications immediately. The power of trust and reputation. This is a bit scary now, honestly, I think of that. Because it's about you and you and about you and about you personally. But this really touches you now personally. Because one thing you need to be aware. If you want to buy something, let's say I want to buy new insurance, or somebody books me for a speech, or I have a new person that is doing my service with me, what are the things that we do? Always. Always. Always do that. If you really want to see who you are, don't look in the mirror. Check the Google result. That shows you what you really are. I always check. If I check every phone, of course I do. I check everybody. And you must be aware, a lot of people check out you all the time. Do this all the time. We do this with everyone. If somebody wants to sell me an insurance, I check out, who is this guy? What is he posting on Facebook? What is he posting on YouTube? Is he in any insurance forums? Can he prove online that what he does is true? So you check out the pictures. Yeah, it's a bit difficult, yeah? With you, you're very so, and then you check out you check LinkedIn, you check out Sing, and of course you check out all the other things. One thing also, privacy is an illusion. Privacy is an illusion. Whatever you post somewhere will be taken by somebody and used against you. Whatever you post, I'm not showing the other stuff, don't worry. I'm not showing the other stuff. But we can check out all our Facebook profiles, regardless of what privacy things you have. There are enough hacks to go through that. Whatever you posted somewhere, you're going to look through that. Always be aware that we're going to look into these things. And there are a lot more. It's not for Facebook. Today, the work doesn't end when you go out here. Today, business and leisure goes together to pleasure. Commitment, unfortunately, today means you're never really off work. Whatever you leave behind in the digital world today will affect the way your clients see you. Because people will check you out. They will search for married men who like strip clubs, yeah? And if they find you, they will do more business or less business. Depends on the way they're minded. Oh, yeah, and one very great thing, the Taco Bell employees, for a while they took this challenge that they lick the tacos before they give it out to the clients. Yeah? Very funny, but they didn't expect that they're all going to be fired, yeah? Because they thought it's all private. Another very important advice is, do you order in Amazon? Does anyone order things on Amazon? I think so, yeah. So let's think you put it in your shopping basket, and then you check before you check out, and you say, oh, this one I'll buy later. And then you click on Save for Later. What does this do? It saves on your wish list. The wish list is public by default. Not a lot of people know that. So I'm not showing it. But I checked Irmgard's wish list, yeah, of course. So you can check everybody's Amazon wish list. But the idea is that it should be public, because then people should say, hey, I wanted this book for you. So if in your wish list, it's not Irmgard's, it's mine. Your boss is a shithead, or my boss is a jerk. No, it's mine. Just be aware that some people out there checking you out. You can change this privacy setting, but not a lot of people do that. So be aware that whatever you do will be used against you. And everything you do online pays into your digital reputation. It pays into your reputation as an employee here, but also as a person in general. So let's say you want to know, do I have a good reputation or a bad reputation? There's a very simple thing you can do. There's a so-called cloud score. You write this K-L-O-U-T, like cloud just with a K. The cloud score shows you, are you an influential digital person? Do you have a good online reputation or not? It rates you from 0 to 100. What you do is basically you put in your new Twitter profile, you put in your Facebook, you put in everything and put that together, and it aggregates a score from 100 to whatever, 62. I get 62, this changes all the time. So at the moment I don't have, you see, I was really down here, I was on holiday here, so I didn't do anything online, so my score really dropped. I'm now under 60, which is really bad. For several reasons. This is not just fun, you know. It's not just that we show it in the toilet who has the bigger cloud score. Yeah? It also has there's another reason behind that. Like currency. There are many hotels now around the globe when you have a cloud score of over 65. It's tricky. I have it sometimes. You can stay a night for free. With a cloud score of over 65, you get regular upgrades to business class. You can buy in a lot of online shops. You buy cheaper. Definitely, because they want people who have a better online reputation. And in a lot of countries, especially when you're from America or from the UK or from Australia, and you apply for a job in sales or in marketing, they require a certain cloud score. Usually it's around 54. But I wouldn't hire somebody with a low cloud score, because I know this person has no online reputation. And if somebody checks him out, it's either the wrong things or it's maybe even suspicious. And this has to do with a lot of other things, because this online reputation is the basis for a lot of new business models. If you think about what's up with Uber, well, the business model of Uber is not that like one car takes you to another place, because that's like a taxi all the time. Yeah, it's nothing really new in this business model. But it gets away and gets rid of the one things we don't like about the taxi drivers. That's a bit strange. Isn't the only annoying thing about taxis is the taxi driver? You have to take the first one in line, even if he has the shittiest car, and the third one would be a brand new Mercedes-Benz. I cannot choose. What kind of economy is that? When a customer can't choose his car, when a customer can't choose his driver, always take the first one, and then he doesn't care. The success of Uber lies just in the one thing that after you get out of the car, you need to rate the driver. If you go in Vienna and buy in Vienna, it's already quite good. If you go now back maybe to Vienna and fly back, drive with Uber in Vienna, costs the same as the taxi. It's even a little more expensive. But the driver, they just care more. You get candies, you get a drink, you have a newspaper. Some of them have a television behind it because they care. Their business is based on reputation. Their business is based on commitment, not just from driving from A to B. It's the same with Airbnb. Airbnb is great because you can stay at places you have never been. You can meet people you've never met. But the only reason this really works, the only reason why we now go to Rio de Janeiro and stay in a place of a complete strangers, which 5 years ago would have sounded ridiculous. If I told you 5 years ago, oh, we're sleeping in another city with anybody, you said, so stupid, yeah? Now Airbnb is worth more than the Marriott hotels. Yeah? It's 27 billion industry. But this all works just because these people have a reputation. You can check these people out online. You can check their Facebook profile, their Twitter profile, their YouTube channels. You know what they're posting. They check you out as well. They say, I don't like the Sega guy here. I don't like what I find about him on the internet. Or one more example is TaskRabbit. This is one of several companies that come from America now that take away this daily things you don't want to do, like assembling IKEA furniture. It's the one thing we all don't want to do, especially if we work all day. So what happens here is somebody goes to your place while you are working, he builds up the Billy, and Billy is still, and he takes all the way the trash, but he leaves everything else in the apartment, and once you're gone, everything is fine. And this also works because these people have an online reputation. Because you can check them out, you can see, and the amazing thing is, and this will be a concept for the future as well, the better ratings they have, the more money they can earn, they can charge you. So it's not about the quality of, it's about the reputation that changes everything. So reputation and trust are the key personal values. Never underestimate. Even if you say, no, I don't know, for me, for you, this will. Think about how quick things changed the last few years. Don't oversleep that. You may wake up and the world has changed too much. And now the final power is the power of authority. I'll tell you a little story. I just actually have some more time. Can I? Yeah. Okay. Back to the history lesson again. When Professor Max Planck won the Nobel Prize, if you're not familiar at the moment, in the quantum physics, I think this audience, you're all aware of that. He was touring Germany and Austria with his driver, and he gave a speech every night about quantum physics. 2-hour-long speech. Every night the same speech. But not a lot changes in quantum physics from one day to another. So it's the same then. After 30, 40 evenings, his driver and Professor Planck, they were sitting together at the beer garden. They're having a Stelze, pork leg, and having some fun. And then the driver said, Mr. Planck, Professor Planck, isn't that really boring? Every day, the same speech. I know it by heart already. You know what, tomorrow we are in Munich. Let's change the roles. You dress up as the driver, and I be outside and speak as Professor Max Planck. I know it's really easy. I can do this 2 hours about quantum physics. It's easy. You just have to learn it by heart. And they did it. It was a time when there was no Google. Men all looked the same, so it was easier. So they did it. So they changed the roles, and next day they were in Munich, and Professor Planck, you're now sitting in the first row as the driver, and the driver was talking 2 hours about quantum physics, and everything was perfect. And then the talk was finished. And then, of course, there was a question. It was like, I have a question. And he shot out a question at the driver remained really cool. Just looked around and said, oh, Munich, what a pathetic question. This is so simple. Even my driver can answer this question. There's a moral in that story, of course. There's a moral in that story. The moral of that story is that today, far too many people are just drivers. We're missing the Professor Plancks. A lot of people are just saying what other people are saying. We need the authorities. Why is this so important? Because one thing, for all of us and for all of our clients out there, one thing that makes it so difficult today is what is right and what is wrong? What is the true things and what is just fake? Just look at the news. I mean, if you look at the second most read online papers in Austria and Germany. In Austria, it's the Tagespresse. In Germany, it's the Postillon. These are all satirical newspapers. Yeah? So everything that's written in there is just not true. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah? 60% of all online reviews are fake. There are agencies specializing on doing fake reviews. If you want to order Viagra, how can you say if it's done by a Semet guy in Romania, or is it a true thing? Because the guy who does it in the backyard in Romania has a more professional website and a better online service than any German pharmacy. So the one thing that service needs to be for any company is to be there, the lighthouse. It needs to be the fire. If service is strong, if service is committed and has the right values, you will show people here is the right place. You don't have to go somewhere else. Here is the right place. And if you are an authority, you don't have to be nice to everyone. It's also one of the things. One of the values I think we talked before is also the value of saying stop. It's the value of choosing the right customer. One of the things I noticed in the last few years is that the power of customers got too much. Yeah? So people always like, if the customer says something, we're like, oh, sorry. This is not service. This is a servant. Yeah? This is a servant. But you don't want to be a servant. It will be service. It's a huge difference. Service is one level. If someone goes too much, you can find another customer. You don't have to have all clients in the world. You never have. So if you take away one thing, I want this to be this. Be somebody's lover. And don't try to be everybody's darling. Nobody likes this everybody's darling. At the end, you're all alone and you're boring. Yeah? Be somebody's lover. Because what happens when you're not? Okay, is someone in love at the moment? Okay, I refresh your memory. If you are in love with somebody, you are blind for the competition. So, beautiful woman walks by, you don't know, wow, yeah? You only have eyes for your new lover or a man, yeah? Whatever, so you're blind for the competition, that's why it is. But why do I say all this? So you say, well, I speak, I say it was funny, I had a few laughs and everything, you said we should write more, yeah, I know all this. Why is it important? Why is it really important? Why does it matter? Because it matters because a lot of years we believe that satisfaction is enough. If the customer is satisfied, it's good. It's not true. Let's be honest. If you meet a friend and you say he was on a holiday and you say how was it, he said, well, I'm satisfied. It's good. Satisfied. Satisfaction is the bottom line. Yeah? Satisfaction is not enough today. In a world of more and more competition, satisfaction is just no longer important. What you really need is something that is not enthusiasm. And enthusiasm comes out of commitment. And commitment is something that appeals. This is a brain, if you don't recognize this immediately. Brain, yeah? Okay. So, this is something that not only appeals to your brain, commitment and enthusiasm is something that is for the customer and for you, it's heart-making, not sense-making. It's not sense-making that you sleep outside the Apple store for the new iPhone that you can buy 2 days later anyway, and it has no new features, yeah? But you still do it. Yeah? This is heart-making, it's not sense-making. So this is the heart. So you have to appeal both the heart. And if you show the commitment to be enthusiastic, this will change your clients, it will change your customers, and it will turn them into fans. And I think this should, I change your motto. I think if you have a motto for this year, it should be turn our customers into fans. Commitment will turn them into fans. And I don't mean there's a Facebook fans or whatever your Twitter followers. I mean really fans, because fans are different from customers. If one significant difference between a customer, fan is not a customer. A fan is more than a customer. A fan is loyal beyond discipline. Think about a football team. Their fans are their clients. And they are very, very good clients because they spend an awful lot of money on the tickets. They spend a lot of money on overpriced merchandising articles. And they have a lot of disappointments all the time. I think it's Borussia Dortmund last season, a horrible season last year. This year, a bit better, but still a lot disappointed. But all these clients, they don't say, okay, we're not good. We go to Bayern Munich, we get the Lederhosen and everything's good. This does not happen. They are loyal. They raise their voices. They are unhappy. They say they are unhappy, but they still remain loyal. And let's face it, your customers will at points be disappointed. This will happen. If they are your fans, they will say, hey, we are unhappy. We want you to change this. But they will stay loyal if you turn them into fans. Commitments, values, and enthusiasm turns customers into fans. And they stay even if at one point or the other it doesn't go so smooth. You always have to think about when it doesn't go so smooth. So customer experience or customer service, whatever you call it, is a verb. It is something you have to do. This is not a tool. This is not an Excel chart. This is not whatever, a management report. This is something you have to do with human beings out there. But if you do it right, then you've got to be really good. So just do it. You have been the audience I expected you to be, as I said before. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot from our side. This was really quite, I would say, impressive. Yeah, very inspiring, very motivating. And there have been a lot of things which we will take with us. What we did learn is we do not appreciate a presence from us. I'm very sorry about that because we prepared one. Yeah, but we are flexible even if you don't expect that. Yeah. If you proceed in the way you're doing, I'm sure that we will become a world-class presenter. And there may be one point of time if some of us ask you to give a presentation to us. So that you remind us, yeah, and remember us and come back again. We have also some presents for you. So it's a chocolate.
Thank you very much.
And there's some stones, yeah. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.